Let's go off the top with this. Now, we've been talking a lot about Netflix lately for different reasons. They're a little bit, they operate in a deficit. They spend lots of money. They put out an awful lot of content. But the other day we talked about the fact that for the first time ever, at least in forever, they had an actual decline in subscribers. I think 113 or 130,000 subscriber dip in the US ever. Now, worldwide, their subscribers still went up by about 2.4, 2.7 million, something like that. But that fell way short of their projected numbers that they were going to gain 5 million subscribers in the second quarter of the year, and they didn't. And well, the pseudo troubles of Netflix continue as it's now being reported that a group of the shareholders are now filing a lawsuit against Netflix, saying that they violated certain laws, that they misrepresented what was going on. Here's one of the reports coming out of Variety. It says at least 2 suits seeking class action standing were filed Monday by the Rosen Law Firm and Shaw Law Firm, which both specialize in investor litigation. The lawsuits allege Netflix violated SEC regulations by failing to disclose information about the Q2 shortfall, which precipitated a 13% drop in the company's stock. Now, they also go on to say that the company had named execs and said the company had named executives who they said knew that the public documents and statements issued or disseminated in the name of the company were materially false and misleading, which violated U.S. securities law. The law firm alleged that the lawsuit filed on July 22nd in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Carolina. Netflix did not respond to any for a request for a comment. All right. First of all, a couple things to keep in mind here. Number one, shareholders suing the companies that they're shareholders of. Nothing new. This is nothing new. This is actually kind of standard operating procedure. But it comes at a time, Rob, it seems to me, that Netflix, again, reporting the first loss of viewership in North America, the fact that it's very high profile, that they spend more money than they make right now, and maybe that's wise, but that's what they're doing right now. The fact that there is this dreadful thing coming down the highway in the form of HBO Max, in the form of Disney Plus, in the form of real stuff, a free service coming from NBC Universal, all that kind of stuff. They're losing Friends. They're losing The Office. It just seems to be yet another thing piling on. I got to imagine it's not a fun time to be around the offices and Netflix right now, Rob. How do you respond to all this?
I think you're right. And I think one of the things, look, I don't presume to know much about our banking laws or investing laws. I don't know. So I don't know about disclosures and things like that. But I would say that I think Netflix has been sketchy from the get-go. They don't release their numbers. You don't really know what's happening. And if you're an investor and you're just buying stock, let's say you're a day trader, or if you don't know about the entertainment business and aren't following trends, this idea that Netflix is about to, there's going to be a storm surrounding Netflix, whether it's Disney Plus, whether it's all the other streaming services, Warner Brothers, Universal. There's streaming services that affect their business, and they're not talking about that at all. I bet they're not disclosing that. They're not telling their investors, hey, we're going to lose Friends at the end of the year, which was one of our watched, because these aren't things that investors are even really looking at. Savvy investors who are following the entertainment industry might, but if, say you're a mom and pop investor in the Midwest and you don't follow entertainment trends, Netflix look like a great stock. But they have not been very communicative, certainly not in the public forums, about what's happening, and they're not stating what's happening. So I think this is just the beginning of a lot of trouble for Netflix.
Yeah, it's certainly, at least publicly, there's a lot, they're taking a lot of hits. Aaron, do you think this is yet another black eye for them? Or do you think, look, really, this is big business. This is probably, at the end of the day, much ado about nothing. How do you see this?
No, I agree with Rob. I feel like this is a sweater that is just unraveling. Unraveling seems to be the word that keeps rattling around in my head when I'm hearing all of these stories. And also, bigger than unraveling is that it's a distraction. They're not focusing on making, they're not focusing on finding that new hit show that they're going to have. They're not focusing on development right now. They're not focusing on really being in front of the game, which is really what made Netflix so popular, was that they saw the future before other people did.
Yeah, they did.
And now they're so busy and scattered trying to deal with all of the drama that has been created that they're not looking at the future. And HBO Max is like, see ya, bye.
Yeah, and you know what? I love the fact that you brought up the distraction thing because, you know, I love sports analogies, but seriously, in sports things, like when things are happening off court,
Yeah.
teams will often talk about this is a distraction for the team, and distraction is a very real thing, even corporately. Like I remember when I was working with, like, say, AMC. And, you know, we had this thing going on where this giant Chinese group was buying up a bunch of the company called Wanda. They were actually really good to work with, to be honest with you. But at the time, that had nothing to do with the shows we were doing or the videos we were making, but it was a constantly looming distraction, and it kind of affected the quality of our work. And I think it's a very astute observation. This is just another thing they don't need. It's another distraction they don't need right now. Maybe this will come and go again. This is not like this is anything new. Shareholders suing a company. What? Yeah, it happens all the time. But again, it just seems to be yet another thing piling on. What do you guys think about this? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right.